Right, so we've arrived at Stratford Hills for Ruffian's first ever affiliated 100. He's being a bit cheeky this morning, putting his studs in, which is definitely needed because we've had a lot of rain the last 2 days. I'm hoping for a clear test, for remembering all of it, and the show jumping is quite beefy, so we'll see. And then the cross country is quite technical, so we'll see what the day ends up like, but hopefully just come home safe and sound for today.
Right, so onto the cross-country course, I was just able to get a few pictures when I was walking around. It was quite a technical course, quite a lot of skinnies, and obviously a log-ditch log combination, which I was a bit nervous about. But Ruffian actually smashed it and got on with the job and was very good. And then the water jump, it was quite nice and simple, just a splash through. But yes, I really enjoyed this course. It was nice and hilly and definitely gave your horse something to think about. Right, so onto the dressage. Ruffian warmed up really beautifully and then came down the centre line after having a little look at the 2 flower boxes at A. He came down the centre line really nice and straight. I lost a little bit of concentration around this corner, but he got it back. I really quite liked this test. It was very symmetrical. This test consisted of 2 3-loop serpentines, which you will see it starts at A, and I thought both of them were quite consistent for him. At that far end, by the way, he kept trying to spook at the flower pots, which was a little bit annoying, but it was alright. But these 3-loop serpentines, in my opinion, really improved from the last event we did. He wasn't swinging his quarters out as much, and was really keeping nice and fluent and a nice bend when asked to change. And then going into that upwards canter transition, he just sort of hollowed a little bit and poked his nose up, but he regrouped and did a lovely 20-meter circle at X, which I thought was a little unusual. But watching back the videos, I think he needed a little bit more impulsion, but because the ground was really slippy, I didn't want to push him too much and have a repeat of him slipping over. But he was wearing studs, so I probably could have asked for a little bit more impulsion. And then downwards transition to trot and walk were nice. A little bit early, I think, for both of them, but he didn't hollow or get stressed, so that was really good for him. And then across the diagonal from M to E, he had a lovely stretch and a lovely walk. He was really stepping through, which I was pleased with. And then collecting his walk for E to prepare him for trot. And then upwards transition was a little bit late, but just trying to keep him nice and relaxed, because then we were going into our canter transition, which was nice and smooth. That was really good for him. And then again, a 20-meter circle at X. On this rein, he looks a little bit more busy behind, so I think the canter improved the second time. And then again, downwards transition to trot, which was nice and accurate. And then starting our second 3-loop serpentine. Again, I'm trying to ride really precise and in getting all 3 loops as similar size as possible, just to gain those extra marks. And just changing my diagonal so he can change his bend. And then nearly finished the test. Just doing a half a 10-meter circle to then join the centre line and then halt and salute at G, which he did very well. I was quite impressed with his halt. He wasn't too fidgety, but it wasn't quite square. But it was a very good test for him. I was really pleased, and we scored a 25.5.
So we've just done the dressage. Nothing went amazing and nothing went wrong. There was a couple of downwards transitions that I did a little bit early, but on the all, it was quite a good test, and I remembered it, which is always the main aim for me. And yeah, I think he could have worked on his canter to have a bit more impulsion, but I think it was a really nice, smooth test for his first 100. So onto the show jumping. It's a very quick turnaround, so I'm going to quickly change his bridle and put a breastplate on, change his boots, and then yeah, show jump.
Right, onto the show jumping. Ruffian was very keen. I was really nervous because it was quite a built-up 1 meter, I thought, but he jumped to super clear. He was quite keen, actually. You can see some areas like round that corner, he was fighting a little bit for the half halt. I've actually changed him to a grackle because he just gets a little bit strong for the jumping phases, and so far it seemed to help. I got a good stride to all the doubles, which I was really proud of myself for. But he's a very long striding horse, so I actually usually have to half halt him more than I think, because he makes up for the striding super easy. So I just keep an eye that he's not running through my hands. Just coming around that corner, he's a bit disunited. Again, this is when he doesn't really listen and gets a bit carried away, but he jumped in nicely. And again, that's a 2 stride, but he shuffled in that 2nd stride because he's very long strided. And then coming to the last, nice big jump, but very pleased with him.
Right, so we've just finished the show jumping and we got a really lovely clear. There are a few corners where he went a bit disunited and a bit strong, but I've changed him into a grackle to jumping, just because, where was it, at Ascot under Witchwood, he just kind of veered off to the warm-up. I didn't have that steering control. But that was a really super clear, and it was, in my opinion, it was built quite large for 100. So I'm really glad that's out the way. And fingers crossed for cross country, a nice safe round we're aiming for, just to get home. He's a very good boy. So all tacked up for cross country. I've got my watch on, a bit nervous. There's a ditch combination that I think might be a bit iffy at, and a few skinnies here and there. And there's a really complicated A, B and C combination up at the top of the hill. So we shall see. Very nervous, but hopefully just come home safe.
Right, so onto the cross country. He came out the start super. Ruff jumped very confidently all the way round. We had a weird situation where we were held up on course because of a rider fall, but he jumped a super clear, a little bit speedy again, but was so proud.
I've just come through the finish and he was a very good boy. We were held out on course for about 3-4 minutes, which was not in our favour. He did all the technical things really well. He did the ditch combination, he did the water, had a real look at the water, but then he went through it. And jumped all the skinnies super. The fence at 8, 9A and B was the jump I was held up before, which was quite a technical combination, and annoyingly that's the one I had to go straight back into. But he jumped really super, and because it was fence 8 and fence 9, I did a circle and just came round and popped him over that. And yeah, he jumped everything really super. He locked on to all the skinnies, and we were just a little bit too quick again. But I had my watch, and again, because I was held up on course, who really knows whose watch stopped and started at the correct times. So yeah, very pleased with the boy, and I think we finished first, so not too bad for our first 100, hey Ruff? But he's very tired now, and we're gonna wash him off and put some ice boots on and head home and put him out in the fields. Right, so we just got back home. Ruff's all ready for the field. It's raining, but he doesn't seem to care. So he's going to have a nice belly full of grass tonight, and he's just having a bit of a snack after eventing with some electrolytes in. And yeah, he's desperate to go out into the field, but he's very good, and the scores are in, and we came first, so that's pretty... What are you eating? Pretty good for our first 100, I would say. I don't know when our next event is, but I do want to take him to the beach and do some fun things with him for a bit of a break. I think he'll like that. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.